All right, Shalom. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Wadash. It's a quick impromptu video, all through the Spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Wadash. So I want to jump into this article of the shooting that just happened recently, which is another mass shooting. As we see, the mass shootings are happening, multiple times a day now. And you Jakes are, out here getting slayed in the streets. The scriptures say, whose possessors slay them, Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. So through the Spirit, I'm going to jump into this quick impromptu video. And Lord willing is edifying. Double honor to the elders and apostles also, who are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace, love, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. How by Yah from my the house of David. The brothers labor to make their call of election sure. Help us seal the elected the nation of Israel. And to the Akim and Akwathium, the brothers and sisters who also listen and believe on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the USA Shalom. So I'm going to jump right into it. This video ain't going to be very long. But as you can see here, it's from TMZ.com. It's dated today, which is April the 26th, 2021. And so this guy is Andrew Brown, here in North Carolina. This is Andrew Brown Jr., police shooting. It says family shown only 20 seconds of video. Attorneys call it an execution. So another Jake getting laid down, out here in these streets. Now, here's the article. It says, Andrew Brown Jr.'s family has finally seen the police body cam video of his fatal shooting at the hands of deputies in North Carolina. And they're outraged by what they describe as an execution. Family members and their attorneys were enraged after the meeting with the Possessors County Sheriff and the county attorney. I'm not sure what town that's in. I think it's Greensboro area, if I'm not mistaken. It says, not only because of the content of the video, but because they were only shown a snippet, 20 seconds, of one of the deputies' bodies cam. So it says the family has demanded to see all of the full raw video available to the sheriff's office, but instead they saw the brief clip, which they say had blurred the faces of the deputies. Adding to their anger is the fact that they were only shown a single deputy body cam. Their attorneys say the 20-second clip made it clear there were 7 to 8 other deputies on the scene whose body cams presumably show more of the deadly incident. So now it's going into the different so-called black leaders like this guy, Bakari Sellers, which he's an attorney as well, but he works on CNN. And then you got your guy, Ben Crump. He always show up to the party anytime Jake get laid down. So, the scriptures say, and their own shepherds pity them not, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and their own shepherds pity them not. So we got the same people showing up for the same events. Now, I want to jump into this because the truth of the matter is, this is all through the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. The Spirit hit me to, do this quick impromptu video because this is really the Spirit of the Lord. It's the Spirit of the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. The Most High is getting Jake riled up. I wanted to jump into that by going into Genesis real quick. Going into Genesis and Genesis 49. I'm going to start at verse 8. This is Genesis 49 and 8. I'm going to put this video up raw just like it is. Genesis 49 and 8, it says Judah, which is you so-called Negroes, Yahweh in the Hebrew, the tribe of Judah, you so-called black people. Y'all call yourselves African Americans. It says, Genesis 49 and 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, because Judah is the head of all the tribes. Hence, Yahweh Shai sprang out of the tribe of Judah. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemy. So we don't see that currently going on. But as we keep reading, it's going to give more understanding. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee, because Judah is the head tribe. Continuing on, verse 9. Genesis 49 and 9. Judah or Yahweh in the Hebrew is a lion's whelp. And when you look up that word whelp, in the blue letter, it goes into a cub being young, signifying that Judah at one time was youthful. So it says Judah is a lion's whelp, which is a cub, a young, youthful lion from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? So Judah, he was this youthful lion, and then what happened? He lost his fervor. It says he couched down, meaning he lost his fervor. He lost his fight. His spirit, he lost his spirit. His spirit was deterred here in Babylon. Through what? Through black culture. Through what else? You got black culture. You got chattel slavery. Because, there was plenty of uprisings. But once again, Judah couched down, the head of all the tribes. So you got chattel slavery, black culture, the black codes, Jim Crow, the civil rights movement, the crack and heroin epidemic of the 80s and 90s, and that resulted in this GMO culture we see today, this through culture, skinny jeans and purple dreads, homo thugs, whoredom of the women, and just a faithless people that's abased among all people, which the Lord spoke in Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, said he called his people degenerates. How have you become degenerates of a strange vine unto me? So this degenerate culture we have today, which is really, it's our people that's wandering aimlessly, here in this desert called Babylon. We're wandering aimlessly again in the desert without a cause and an identity or a way. So that's what's going on currently. But the Lord said, the scripture said, who shall rouse him up? Genesis 49:9, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion. When you go into that word couched, in that verse, it's H7257, and it's the Hebrew word rabatz, and it means to lay down, to stretch out, to lie down. So Judah lay down and went to sleep, meaning he lost his fight. But the Most High, through all these shootings and through all this activity that you're seeing, and it is happening more and more often because it's the Spirit of the Lord bringing out judgment to do what? To continue through the Spirit to rouse Judah up, because as Judah goes, so goes the tribes. So he's rousing Judah up, and he's going to continue to do things to rouse the other tribes up as Judah gets back from that laid down state. Now, it's through the Spirit. I was thinking about this, and it's hit me. And why I want to do this video is what made Judah couch down or lose his fervor, lose his fight from being youthful, young, to now being an old lion, all deterred and through, is Babylon has done this to Judah. Babylon has done this to the tribes, starting with Judah. And I wanted to touch on that. So I'm going to get a few precepts and close it out real quick. So this is Judah, how he couched down. So when you go to, let me start here, and let's go to the book of Proverbs, the 7th chapter, I believe it is. So Proverbs, the 7th chapter, and Proverbs, the 23rd chapter. There's a tie between those two chapters when you read them. We'll understand it, and I'm going to get into it. So I'm going to start at Proverbs 7 and verse 10. Because it said Judah couched down, meaning in that word couch going to laying down, meaning he laid down, he stretched out, he went to sleep. Proverbs 7 and 10, and this is how. Proverbs 7 and 10, it says, and behold, there met him a woman, speaking of Jake here in Babylon, speaking of Israel in Babylon, they met him a woman, and that woman was Babylon with the attire of an harlot and something of heart. And you can read about her in Revelation, the 17th chapter, speaking of this woman, and the 18th chapter, but the 17th chapter goes into it, showing you that Babylon is that woman, that stranger with flattereth with her words, So, Salakia. So it says, Proverbs 7 and 10, and behold, there met him a woman with attire of an harlot and subtle of heart, speaking of Babylon. Verse 11, which is America, she is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. She is without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. And that's Babylon. She lieth in wait at every corner. Doing what? Seducing our people, as we continue to read. With what? With sin. Seducing them to break the laws, to transgress the laws. So that's how she lied the street. She lied now at the streets and layeth in wait at every corner. And this is what the result of black culture is. It's a result of our people being seduced here in Babylon, seduced to sin, and to not come back to who they are, to believe in white in so-called white supremacy, Edomite supremacy, which is Christianity in Western culture. All of those things embody Edomite supremacy. So all of these things are key contributors to how our people have remained asleep here. And once again, black culture is at the head of that as well. So it says, now is she without, now in the streets, and layeth in wait at every corner. So she called him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him. So Babylon has caught Jake and kissed him. That's how we're going to get to the point of how he couched down. She called him and kissed him, which she showed him favor. And what is that favor? Section 8, government housing, EBT, child support, spousal support, stimulus checks. Now they're talking about starting this universal basic income. All of these are ways that, she's caught Jake and kissed him, meaning she showed him favor here in Babylon. So this is that whore as we read up, with the attire of a harlot, which is Babylon. This is all metaphoric speech here. Proverbs 7:14. I have peace offers with me. This is what Babylon, pushes forth. She comes in the name of peace. The scriptures say that the words were smoother than oil, but war was in their heart. So it says, I have peace offers with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with covering. See, this is how Jake couched down when it said he couched down as an old lion. Because Babylon did what? They gave Jake all these things to pacify him. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with the fine linen of Egypt. And that's what Jake is laid down in. And here in New Egypt in fine linen, which is this bed that Babylon has made. This is a metaphoric bed that Babylon has made for Jake to lay down in and to get comfortable. So our people have become comfortable. That's why he couched down as an old lion. He got comfortable here in Babylon by being seduced. This chapter is getting into how Jake, the nation of Israel has been seduced here in Babylon, if you can receive it. Proverbs 7:17, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. See, all these things are, will be the comfort creature items in the bed, that Babylon has laid down. That bed with that fine linen, that's been decked, which is brings me to the, it's all through the spirit. Isaiah 32, where it says that they should lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vines. That's what this is speaking about. When it says deck my bed with coverings, with tapestry, with carved works, with the fine linen of Egypt. Those are all the fruitful vines. They're going to lament for the teats, the scriptures say, which is all those programs, EBT, child support, spousal support, Section 8, all of these things, these stimulus checks, universal basic income, all of that is a trap. That's continued to allow Jake to do what? To couch down. Let's keep going. Proverbs 7:18, come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love. So you always see that love doctrine being pushed, that the Most High loves everybody. Let's all coexist and be one. Let's love one another. Everything is always about love here. The scriptures, point this devil out for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. Proverbs 7:19, for the good man, which is symbolic of Yahushua, is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. See, Yahushua, since the time he's been here, it's been over 2,000 years. So our people, have put away spirituality for carnality, for wickedness and perverseness and iniquity, which is evil doing, because they don't believe Yahushua is coming back. Proverbs 7:20, he hath taken a bag of money with him, going into this truth, and will come home at the day appointed. So when you go into like the parable of the penny, the wise virgins, these are some examples. And the talents, the parable of the talents, the Lord, gave those talents and that money for Jake to go and multiply. So that money is symbolic of the truth. But it says he will come at the day appointed, meaning he has a time that he's going to come back, that only the Most High knows. Proverbs 7:21. With her much fair speech, the Bible says, with good words and fair speeches, they deceive the hearts of the simple. With her much fair speech, speaking of Babylon, she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him. This is being seduced. This is the seduction. He goeth after her straightway as an ox to the slaughter. Our people are led as a flock to the slaughter, the scriptures say, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Till a dart strike through her liver, as a bird hasteneth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. So it's not going to be to the last, the scriptures say, that Jake is going to truly know how he's been seduced. Jake is being played right now. They've been, seduced by Babylon, by the ways of Babylon. Now let's get one more precept and close it out real quick. It's the book of Proverbs. Just wanted to jump into it. Now this is Proverbs, the 23rd chapter. We read 7. Let's get into the 23rd chapter. Let's start at verse 26. Show you how these chapters coincide through the Spirit. Proverbs 23 and 26. It says, my son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways, speaking of keeping the commandments. For a whore, the ways of Babylon, she's that whore. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. The philosophies of the world that Babylon, has made the earth drunken with. Those are the strange women. That's a narrow pit. So Babylon, this whore, is a deep ditch in all her ways, and her philosophies is like a narrow pit unto us, our people, who continue in this way. Verse 28. Proverbs 23 and 28. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. So the same thing that she lied at the streets, She lieth at the streets, and she brings a prey. That prey is Jake. The prey departeth not, as it says in Nahum. So that's a precept for that. It says, increaseth the transgressors among men. Continue to allow our people to go further and further into sin, like I said in Proverbs the 7th chapter. Who hath woe, who hath sorrow. All these things pertain to our people and those who have been seduced by Babylon. Who hath contentions, who hath babbling, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes. And what are those redness of eyes is going to tell you right here. Verse 30, Proverbs 23 and 30. They that tarry long at wine, they that go to seek mixed drink, all those that is drunk in the philosophies and the wine of Babylon, which is the ways of wickedness. Proverbs 23 and 31. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, speaking of the philosophies, the ways of Babylon, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last, like a serpent, it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder. So at the last, the snake is going to bite you, which is symbolic of the wicked. He's spoken of as being likened unto a serpent. Going back to the garden. Proverbs 23 and 33, thine eyes shall behold strange women, the philosophies of the world, the ways of perverseness and wickedness, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. And what are those perverse things? Those perverse things is when you see our people out here, when they get gunned down, when they marching for equal rights, for equality, Black Lives Matter, all this is perverseness. All these are perverse things and profane things and profane people, meaning outside of the temple. So it says, thine heart shall utter perverse things. Those perverse things is, once again, Black Lives Matter, marching for equality. All that's symbolic of perverseness. It's meaningless. It's in vain. It's to no avail. Proverbs 23 and 34. Yea, thou shalt be he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, I was not sick. They have bidden me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. And that goes in line when it says at the last in verse 32. At the last, it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder. It's at the last, But the elect, the scriptures say, are looking to be increased at the last. So that shows you the separation between the 2/3 and the heathen and the wicked. So with that, I hope that was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakak, double honor to the elders and apostles. Peace, love, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, Habayath Madawadah, the house of David. Brothers labor to make their call of election sure. To the Akim and Akwafim, the brothers and sisters who also listen and believe on Hamashiach Yahushai. To you, I say shalom as well. So shalom.